Right there on, we have everyone ready for day number 4 of the African University celebration, and I'm glad to welcome you all once again to this wonderful week celebration. I've seen a couple of great people in the house. I want to send some greetings to you, the Sage, Pi Obaya, Prof. You're welcome this one. I want to say thank you for showing up as usual. Thank you so much, Prof. And all of you, greetings to you all, academics, researchers, higher education stakeholders all across the continent, North Africa, South Africa, East Africa. All of you have made your way here again. And today promises to be an amazing day. We have great programs to share with you all. My name is Dr. A.G.E.N.D.A right from the AAU in Accra, Ghana. And to give you a clue of what's going to happen today, so today, this morning from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock GMT, we're still within the Regional and Global Partners Day, number 2. So we'll be having the first session on responsible use of AI and emerging technologies in higher education, which will be spearheaded by the AAU's Europe office, hosted by the University of Nottingham, UK. And right after that, from 11 o'clock to 12:30 GMT, is also a session titled Building Resilient Education Systems Through Responsible Research and Innovation, which will be spearheaded by the Ethical Data Institute and AAU's Europe office, hosted by the University of Nottingham. And last but not the least, it will be from 13 o'clock GMT to 14:30 GMT on the African Charter on Transformative Research Collaboration, which will be done by the University of South Africa. So University and University of Cape Town. So you have all these programs well laid down for you to participate in, and I wouldn't want to mess with. You would, it would be a good run for the money and for your time for you to join us. And don't leave the platform. Just stay with us as we get interactive on all the sessions that we have today. Let me go into our participants section and call on the team from University of Nottingham. Are we here? So we're getting ready to prepare for the first session. It's exactly 9 a.m. and we're looking at the responsible use of AI and emerging technologies in higher education. Just a brief preamble, we understand that there is a whole new wave within the higher education sector, which is artificial intelligence. And it's either you adapt to it or you repel. Or you oppose against the whole invasion of AI. But is there anything good that AI brings on board? Is it a tool that could help facilitate or transform the higher education space? Or is it a tool to tear down the integrity and also the strength that the higher education sector faces? Are we going to stand with it or against it? Is it going to be a helper or maybe a deteriorator against our own intellectual ability? So we'll have a whole lot of discussion to have. It will be a debate whatsoever your views against what it ought to be. And I want to call upon the members of the University of Nottingham. If you're here, you can please put your hands up and we'll give you co-host rights to start up the conversation. So whilst our speaker prepares to start talk, if you also want to participate in a discussion, you can put your hands up and I will give the co-host rights. He wants to have an interactive session whereby it's more of a panel type. So if you want to participate and join him in discussing the topic, you can put your hands up and I will notify you as a prospective speaker along with him. And that is how he wants to diversify this morning's session. So if you want to be part, you can put your hand up and I'm going to identify you as a co-speaker to join our speaker this morning who wants to talk about AI in higher education. All right, so Rosemary Ngara, thank you so much for volunteering to be part of the speakers this morning. The questions are in the chat box. I see Abiodun, welcome. So I have Abiodun, I have Rosemary as my co-speakers, and Dr. Damien is also from the University of Nottingham. We will be also our speaker. So I'm going to give a chance for Rosemary to introduce herself, your university, and I'll give the same chance to Abiodun to do the same thing. And then our speaker, Dr. Damien, will do the same thing, and we can have our discussion. So Rosemary, if you're ready, let's go.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Actually, mine was going to be a request. I was going to request you to give us the questions once again.
I've done that.
Not that I would be a discussant, I'm sorry. But maybe you could have the questions once again. Thank you.
Okay, so I shared the question in the chat box now. I'll do that again. Maybe you missed it.
Where are we?
Have you gotten it? I hope you see it now. So I think I double paste in there. So it's Dr. Damien A.G.E.N.D.A in the house.
I hope my hand. Okay.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc. I'm so glad you joined us. I'm so glad you joined us. How's your morning going?
Good morning.
Great, great. So this
morning,
stay
in traffic?
Yes, I appreciate that. In fact, it is not easy to be in traffic and still be in a meeting. So that is so much sacrifice right there. We appreciate it. Dr. Damien A.G.E.N.D.A is with the University of Nottingham, and he's also well-versed in AI, emerging technologies, and also in higher education as well. So this morning, we want to start by asking ourselves one very profound question. Are there any ethical issues that schools should think about today when talking about or when trying to integrate AI and other new technologies into their education system or framework? Is there anything that they should be concerned about?
Okay, so I think we need to start from understanding the technology. Okay. For those who might be thinking, I'm very safe. I'm packed. I'm packed, and I'm safe. So don't worry. I'm not driving at the moment. So I think we need to start from understanding the technology, AI and other emerging technologies. These are technologies that are not neutral. These are technologies that are value-laden, designed, developed, and actually deployed with values in them, embedded values in them. So the reason why we now talk about responsible use is that there might be irresponsible use of these technologies. So, and these technologies are shaping our lives, the way we eat, the way we think, the way we do everything these days is shaped by these technologies. That means there is a lot of power that is actually embedded in these technologies, in these systems. If we don't use it responsibly, and that is maximizing the benefits, but also mitigating the risk and the concerns that they raise, right? Which is what we mean by responsible use. If we don't do that, that means the power might be very negative, have negative consequences on our lives. And in education, now we're thinking about the use of AI and emerging technologies in education. It's happening with the launch of OpenAI's ChatGPT and other now emerging large language models. So many people are now using AI systems and other emerging technologies in education. The problem is not about integrating them into what we're doing in education. I think the major problem that we need to think about is how do we use it responsibly? We are embracing it with open arms, but I think we need to pause a little bit to think about the ethical, social, and technical issues that we need to address. As per the question in terms of ethical issues, all technologies, as I said earlier, because they are value laden, have fundamental ethical issues that they raise, from autonomy to privacy issues to safety issues to so many other issues that we need to think about. But most importantly, privacy issues and also misuse. Misuse is a very critical problem that we need to address in education. But the answer to it is not to ban it, have a kind of a blanket ban on the use of these technologies, as so many universities are doing. So many universities in the last year or two are banning students from using these technologies because of maybe academic integrity issues. But not just that. We need to focus on responsible use. We need to focus on addressing the ethical issues. We need to focus on addressing some of the concerns and the risks that actually present in education. But I will allow other members, other panel members to chip in, or maybe people from the floor to chip in, and then we can discuss robustly.
Absolutely. Just as you wanted a panel type where everybody is able to share their views so we can have more ideas on the board. So Dr. Damien has set the ball rolling with his point of view on the use of AI and other new technologies. And you are also a participant representing a university or higher education institution on this platform. What do you think are some of the ethical issues that should be considered thoroughly before a university goes into adapt to an AI platform or even a new technology for its university system to run the system? If you have any idea or any concern or comment you want to make, you can do that. I saw a comment by Olufemi Adetunji. Olufemi, would you want to put your camera on and share these views? Okay. I want to read the comment he made. It's like he tied there. There are lots of ethical issues schools need to consider. The first with ownership, reliability, and 3 bias and privacy issues, which are also key from Olufemi Adetunji concerning what we're discussing this morning. Let's try and then look out for another one as I think we prepare our participants to also join the discussion. Is how can universities make sure that artificial intelligence is used fairly and transparently in decisions affecting students and staff? Is there any threat on transparency and fairness with the use of AI? Is it that so invasive?
I will answer that question by saying that I don't think any of the AI models, large language models that we have now, is fit enough for any university to use for automated systems or automated decisions. The reason why I'm saying that is because these models, although they are very big in size, they still lack data sets from Africa. They still lack unique, effective and fair decisions. So it is important for us to understand the limitations of these models as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use AI systems to make automated decisions in education in Africa, my suggestion will be build your own system, build your own model. you can actually use APIs from these large language models to train systems that are unique to your needs in the university. But as they are at the moment, these models are not sufficient to give you fair and accurate decisions that you need to make in your universities. That's what I would say.
Ideally. Let's also hear from Dr. Bengat, Joseph, KP again. Sir, let's hear from you.
Thank you. I think my take with regard to AI and ethical issues highly revolves around as institutions embrace the use of AI. There is a voice from behind.
Okay, you can go ahead.
All right. That as institutions respond towards the embracing of AI with regards to ethical issues, I think the background of institutions is forgetting first to lay an ethical framework in form of policies.
Yeah.
In my country, Kenya, we have what is called Data Protection Act. And to what extent is staff, is students and members of faculty aware of that act and that policy with regards to implementation? So AI as a technology is rapidly changing, but as we change, we address the policy framework that even guides the ethical use of it. And I think that is the starting point. That as we move with technology, what are those policy guidelines that will also promote the ethical use of it? And that is, to me, is where the rubber meets the road. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bengat. And Abiodun is in, but let's hear from you.
I really want to appreciate the organizer for this succinct program. I want to believe so strongly that the AI has come to stay in the whole world. It's not only in Africa, it has come to stay in the whole world. We should be of consciousness of the fact that when motor vehicle was also introduced to Africa, Africa have a conjunction that is a taboo to enter a vehicle where you're supposed to trek. But if you want to now trek from Nigeria to Ghana or from South Africa to, you see, it's unreasonable to engage in such kind of attitude. So it is already done on us that entering vehicle is a normal thing, a technology that enhances mobility. So AI has come to stay to enhance effectiveness in operation. We need to leverage AI not only in education, we need to leverage it in medicine, we need to leverage it in politics, we need to leverage it in governance, we need to leverage it in commerce and industry, we need to leverage it in arts and entertainment. So AI has come to impact different sectors. So in education, we should be kept abreast because we are the one that will teach the populace how to effectively utilize AI. So we should not be phobia. We should not be doubting the efficacy of AI. Neither should we be uncertain at its potential. To be conscious of in the UNESCO National Open University training we just had of recent is that there are biases in the fairness in utilizing AI. There are equal issue of data privacy and security. How can we ensure our data are well protected? And even when you are using somebody's data.
Oops, I think we missed Adetunji, sorry, Dr. Abiodun. But I think that Dr. Lufemi is here. Let's hear from you, sir.
Thank you very much. Quite interesting conversation. I quite believe that AI, integration of AI into education system in Africa it offers two-sided coin for education in Africa. And it all depends on the way we integrate it. And there are many aspects that we can integrate AI into in education system in Africa. One in fact, facility management, AI can be integrated into that. Admission processes, AI can be integrated into that. And decision making to some level, I quite understand that many of the available AI models that we have now quite lacking in data from Africa. That means institutions or group of institutions could come together and generate data and find a way to develop their model and train it to that model will be able to be specific to the needs of those institutions. And we can also, as one of the aspects that AI can be integrated in as well, is in the development of learning materials, learning resources, and all that, because AI could help to make learning resources from Africa more available to the global community, as well as make students to know ethical way, the efficient way that AI can be integrated into their learning processes as well. As lecturers, we can engage a lot of co-pilots, lot of AI platforms that could help us to develop better learning resources for our students, where students will not be limited to what is happening within our country alone, but they will be able to have that global understanding of what is happening about what that phenomenon is globally. Those are the ways that we can integrate AI, and it's all depends on training ourselves, upskilling ourselves into better way of using AI across Africa. I know that some countries could struggle a bit. Some countries could move faster in their process, but it's quite something that is, as the last speaker said, that's come to stay. If we like it or not, we don't need to be afraid of it. If we want it or not, students are using it, lecturers are using it, many decision makers within the education system in Africa are using it. That means we need to be transparent about it and upskill ourselves into ethical ways of using AI to improve what we offer to our students, both at undergraduate and postgraduate. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'd like to respond to some of these comments. These are very wonderful comments, very wonderful comments.
Yes.
AI has come to stay like other emerging technologies. We don't need to fear it. What we should not do is to overhype it. What we should not do is to overestimate the capabilities of available models, because such overestimation can lead to misuse, can lead to irresponsible use of the technology. We need to understand the limitations of what we have at the moment. It's just some narrow systems that can give you you can give them a specific task to do for you. We are not at the level of A.G.E.N.D.A yet. Whether we're going to get there is a different question. But what we have now is narrow AI systems with limited data. We need to realize that. If we do, we understand now the hallucinations that can come with it, the biases that can be integrated in the systems. If we understand this, how can we then make AI systems trustworthy in our context, in our universities? There are so many ways of doing that. One is maybe feeding it with enough data. Another one is maybe through prompt engineering. If we can actually develop sufficient prompt frameworks or templates that can help us to maximize the models, that's fine. These are ways that we can actually make the system trustworthy for us. We need to make the system trustworthy so that whatever outcome that we get from the system, we can trust it. One other thing that is important in the universities is this. For now, it's not a time for us to sit back and allow our students to get all the knowledge in AI and we sit back and, okay, we are too old for this. No. Staff members, lecturers, professors are supposed to keep abreast with what is happening with the AI systems, because we have been entrusted to train these students to go into the world where the AI systems are going to change everything. We need to be well equipped to train them for this society. We need to understand how we can leverage these systems to actually train them to be ready for the society. It is important. And that's why universities are supposed to engage and also maybe invest on training education of training for lecturers and also for students in terms of responsible use, rather than maybe banning it or maybe putting fears into people on how to use it or not how to use it.
Sure. And the course of delineating yourself from the use of AI, I want to throw this one to all university reps on this platform. Is your university actually using any kind of AI tool or any emerging technology or any new technology that you have in your institution? If you have, share your case study with us. Let us appreciate how you are going about it in terms of privacy of data and also protection. Let's hear from Newton Kayando. Newton, what's up? Let's hear you. Hello, Newton. Can you hear me? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. All right. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
Can we see you? Can we see you? Is your camera on, please? Hello, Newton, your camera. Great.
He can go ahead. We're hearing his voice. Yeah.
All right. Newton, your mic is on mute. Can you unmute yourself? All right. So please go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I've been following this presentation. It's quite a wonderful one, and it's kind of it kind of awakes us to look at the way we look at AI in a different light. I have just heard from my my neighbor here from Kenya talking about the data protection policy, which is actually also in Tanzania. I'm actually speaking from Tanzania.
Okay.
And when you look at what the AI can do, you start to wonder whether these laws that we have for data protection, what data are we protecting? Where is it? But that is from the data side. You look at it that if you go into the details of the laws that we have for data protection, they're actually talking about the data that is not collected. That's the raw data. But this it also gives us a question on how do we leverage the speed that AI is going, plus if you compare with our lifestyle, our life system, that how much of the AI can be integrated in our day-to-day life. You see the difficulty that we are facing at the moment, where you see that our students seem to be a little bit far ahead than what us as instructors are. There are two issues. One is the generational difference. But again, it's a question of the workload. The social workload that our students have is much less than what we had as instructors.
Okay.
You will go that we can take the same case into the medical issue, you will go into the financial and everywhere. You find that our lifestyle is actually going a little bit slower than the technological advancement. So the challenge that we have as we are looking at the AI is that how do we improve our life system, our social system, so that they can match with the AI. You want to use the AI in the legal system, but do we have a premise for the AI to work? So to me, I don't look at it that do we check it or not? We don't have that option. If we underline to what Engineer Prudence said yesterday, is that if everyone is using, especially the advanced world, if we don't use it, then we don't get that advantage.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So to me, like that, we don't just not look for. We not need to focus on to limit ourselves to our learning and teaching and learning. Can we go to other systems as well?
Okay, thank you so much, Newton. Yeah. All right, thank you for your feedback. And so Damon is in the house and he is sharing with us on AI and its responsible use. But you can also join the discussion and let us know what you think about AI and how it could be used responsibly. I can see our building is back with this. Okay, building is back. Can you come in, please? We lost you a while ago.
I want to say that we should be able to categorize ourselves in this 21st century. In this dispensation, we over 30, 40, and 50 that dominate the lecturing work in tertiary institutions. Majority of us are technological migrants to this century. We are not born in this century. Those born in this century are the indigene of this technological age. We cannot be competing with them. They will be ahead of us. Naturally, they will be ahead of us. They're supposed to know. They are born with technology. When they are carrying their pregnancy, they are carrying handsets in their hand. They are using DSTV with them. So they are very, very versatile. The only thing we need to do is to develop our capacity. We should also show some prowess to train these technology indigenes. What they don't know is to give them the idea. I was teaching research methodology. I told my students we are going to use learning management system. Learning management system is not so different from intelligent tutoring system of artificial intelligence. When you are adapting your instruction to LMS, learning management system, like my institution trained the lecturers how to use learning management system, how to you develop a lecture notes into modules, how you are going to integrate, attach the modules into your learning management system like Google Classroom or Canvas instructor, how you are going to use this instructor to test the student, to give them assignment, to submit a test, to even let them do tests 2 or 3 times so that they can be learning as they are doing tests. These are aspects of artificial intelligence that we cannot shy off from. It's not just something that just happened yesterday. It's not something that happened even this century. It has happened for more than 5 decades ago. When went to tutoring, it has been long that they have been in existence, and people have been using it. They have been adapting it into teaching and learning processes, and it has been heading it. So when we try it, we could realize that it raised students' cognitive capacity, it raised their psychomotor skills, development, it raised their ability, and it raised their enthusiasm. It raised their interest in learning. Anytime you're able to touch affective trait of students with technology, know that you have gotten your learning passed across to them. When they're able to be enthused with your technological package, then it will touch their cognitive, it will touch their psychomotor domain, and you have gotten everything. So in my own institution here, in Manila and the University of Education of Oyo, Nigeria, our management team tutored us and trained us through workshop. And we were trained how to use the management system. And for many of us that have been adapting it, we know how it has transformed our teaching and learning experiences.
That is a very important example there for what we are talking about. Universities have the responsibility to train both staff and students on responsible use, because all right. If you are you hearing me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. So universities have an enormous responsibility to train both staff and students on responsible use. And yes. Hopefully, many universities will take that route and make sure that their staff and also students have an idea of how to responsibly use AI systems.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damian. And I mean, can I your view? We have a very interesting responsibly. Professor Edward Bantu, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Professor Bantu from Kawa University in Uganda. And this is a very critical aspect that we are faced in the society today. And as you are aware that artificial intelligence is actually increasingly shaping the various aspects of modern society. And its influence is particularly profound in areas of healthcare, business, communication, and education. And as I talk now, I'm working out on a curriculum of digital mental health, leveraging mental health within East Africa. And I think these technologies will continue to develop, and they have the potential to revolutionize the education system on the continent by improving access to learning, personalizing education, and facilitating administrative efficiency. However, AI also raises important concerns, particularly around issues of equity, ethics, and responsibility. Like recently, a number of lecturers use AI to get information for their students, and also to help the students to open up their mind. One of the most important things that we need to be able to do as universities and institutions of higher learning, we need to be able to translate what is provided in the artificial intelligence to the daily life applications. Otherwise, the students will be just getting there, they get information, and they'll just be able to have it as garbage in, garbage out. So we need to be able to, as I mentioned earlier on in our discussion, that we need to have an online course on artificial intelligence so that we can be able to help the students and the society to know how to use it responsibly and be able to apply it in the day-to-day. But there are challenges that I'm seeing, because if, for example, to employ 10 lecturers to teach a particular course, but then that course can be provided for by artificial intelligence, that means I'm going to have a program of recruitment of the lecturers. The lecturers will be now very few, and it will take up the space for continuous development of the staff and students that we're trying to develop. So there are also challenges that come with this, and these challenges need to be really looked into so that we don't continue to use artificial intelligence as a means to an end, but it should be used as a means to an end, not an end in itself, but as a means to an end. Because yeah, in terms of the systems that are there, you'll discover that artificial intelligence provides transparency. It develops people to be trained in diverse ways of delivering the lectures. So I believe we need to be able to attend to some of the challenges that are coming with artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Hello, Vivian. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yes, okay. So very good morning to everyone. Greetings. I'm from the National Open University of Nigeria. I'm an associate professor, and it's a distance learning. However, I just wanted to add to the voice of all those who have been discussing, and to say that for universities, preserving data privacy in a world where AI is having the day is very, very important. Why? Because we need to have the trust, to gain the trust of the users. And all those who use it, both the lecturers and the students, need to be guided. So there's need for a multifaceted approach to, ensuring that there's data privacy. Data privacy is a very critical aspect of, being able to use AI responsibly. So there shouldn't be abuses. And in order to safeguard, against abuses, there's need for the university to, maintain some policies around data privacy. And this will have to do with, like I said, it should be a multifaceted approach. Apart from those working directly in the protection, like the IT guys, those in the security units, there is need for the lecturers and the students to be trained and retrained to sensitize them on data access policies and access control, so that they don't divulge private personal information unnecessarily. And so there should be issues around data governance also by the university, so stating what level of information each particular, for example, students' results shouldn't be accessible to anyone. At least in our university, there's a level of data governance that is maintained. So that is very, very key. And then there should also, those directly involved should provide homomorphic encryption so that, data is not just divulged, or people or hackers also can also intercept. And even if they intercept, there should be multi-level protection so that they wouldn't be able to just gain access, like that. So with that, I think it's an ongoing thing, there's no 100% security, but once there's some level of governance and maintenance, and it's easy to gain the trust of the and data privacy will be maintained. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vivian. And before I go to Dr. Damien, I want to also hear from Gloria. Gloria Apple, I saw your hand up a while ago. Would you want to share with us what you think, Gloria? Hello, Gloria. And also, I think I came across Matilda Owusu. She actually was around in the beginning, and I don't know if she wants to also share her view about the responsible use of AI and new technologies. But if not, we'll launch the next question, which is, how can teachers be trained to use AI and new technologies in a responsible way in their classroom? So earlier, we found that so many educators or so many people in Africa are alienating AI. Hello?
I'm not done with my submission.
Yes, all right, let's hear from you. Yes, Gloria.
Yes, so like I said, I'm Gloria from A.G.E.N.D.A, Accra. My concern has to do with policies to guide the AI, because as it is now, we cannot stop the students from using. If we don't let them use it in the classroom, they may hide and use it. And so once we allow them to start using it also, I know in examination, at least we have policies that says that don't bring your phone to the examination room.
Yes.
Don't bring programmable equipment
devices.
To the devices to the examination room. But once they get used to using AI, learning and grasping everything in their mind will become difficult. So the temptation would be to bring the phones or the programmable devices to examination. So we as universities, what actions are we going to take now to encourage them to use it, but to use it ethically and within rules and regulations? So we should think about that. Thank you very much.
All right. So Dr. Damien will address that. Let me pick that off Matilda Owusu, and then we'll just put it together. Then Dr. Damien will just address that.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, I have a problem with my camera. Yes. Because I'm also with the Information Systems Department, we have been trying to see how AI would be incorporated in the learning of students, because most of the time we unfortunately by default think that students are going to use AI tools, models to cheat, rather than looking at it as it's enhancing their learning outcomes and also enhancing how we teach. And AI is here to stay. That's the first thing. We need to accept it and then now look at the positive side. I'm responding to some of the issues in terms of the ethics, in terms of the regulations. As it is globally, we only have one bloc, that's the European bloc, that has come up with AI regulations. We do have that for data privacy, data ethics across the world. But when it comes to AI, because of its exponential nature, we are now trying to catch up to regulate it. We normally would use data ethics and privacy for it, but who owns the data? The data that is generated, the information that is generated, who does it belong to? These are key things, but we need to quickly adapt, because we are not training students only for Africa, we are training them for global relevance. So for us as an institution, we started looking at how do we enhance AI positively. So one thing we tell them, yes, you can do it, use it for, let's say, your literature review, because we have AI learning models that would give you quick access to literature, but plagiarism is there. You do it, you would be sacked from the university. So how do you enhance on that quick access to that database? And I think if we look at it in terms of how students can rather use it positively than the default of always thinking that they're going to use it to cheat, is going to make them lazy, we would not fully grasp the opportunity that AI can give us. I mean, as universities, if I use KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, we've been in existence for a long time. So when it comes to data, yes, we do have data. Now, how do we make sense of that data quickly using certain models that AI is affording us? How do we, as faculty, administrative staff, also enhance our skills to make sure that we can get the best out of this AI craze? Because it's not going to go away. So yes, I love the fact that we are having this session, but we must recognize that we need to incorporate it. We need to get the skills, and then we need to get the university to have that governance system, as was said. We have to have the immediate policies in terms of private use, in terms of ownership, and in terms of the ethics. But it must happen. All right, that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matilda, for your input. And we can also go to Dr. Damien to help us with the training. How do we start something about training educators on AI and new technologies so they could also be familiar with them in the classroom?
So I will start by making little comments about what we've had earlier on. These are very good points. I love this session, actually. These are very wonderful points in terms of governance, in terms of ethics. Yes, in Africa, we don't have, or even in the world, we only have the EU AI Act. We don't have any other AI regulation anywhere. But just as any regulation or the EU wants to go first and have the Brussels effects, right? One thing that we should not do in terms of governance of AI or policies of AI is to copy everything the EU has done in terms of the risk-based approach. We did it with the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. Most data protection regulations in Africa actually mimic what the European Commission did with the GDPR. We should not do that. And the reason for that is this. We should regulate these systems according to our context, according to our needs, according to our values and principles. The prioritization of values in Europe shouldn't be our own prioritization. I'll give you an example with the GDPR. The GDPR is about personal privacy. In Africa, the priority for us is not personal privacy, but collective privacy, right? Now, almost everything that we have done in the regulation is just about personal privacy, and we actually neglect the collective privacy. And most of the data protection regulations I've reviewed, and I've spoken to a lot of policymakers, they are trying to actually revert it now to actually align with our values and principles. What we should not do, we should not do that with AI. We should not do that with AI. One example is this. In AI, in Europe, the AI Act is based on trustworthy AI principles developed by the high-level expert group. And these were autonomy, things like safety and robustness. That's fine. For Africa, I think the first thing that we need to do in terms of trustworthy AI is to think about decoloniality, because decoloniality should be the first requirement for trustworthiness of AI in Africa. AI systems, as I said earlier from the beginning, is embedded with values, is value-laden, right? So that means most of the colonial legacies and tendencies are embedded in the systems that we have at the moment. So for us to trust these systems, we need to make sure that they are decolonized. Ownership of the data. I'm happy that people were talking about it. Who owns the data that this system is trained on? Do we have ownership in Africa? Or the exploitation of the materials that go into the development of these systems, how are they actually developed? Are they just exploited as the colonial era systems, or are we actually doing it ourselves and getting benefits from it? These are things that we need to think about in our policies, in our regulations. Currently, I'm working on a decoloniality impact assessment. Hopefully, that can be published very soon. So we need to think about how do we even regulate these systems in Africa? We should not copy what the EU has done. In terms of training, I think I was one of the first people to publish on ChatGPT in 2023, because it was launched in November, and I think my paper went out December, right? The first thing, the first recommendation I had in that paper was universities are supposed to develop training materials for both staff and students. We need to do that. I hear people talking about maybe developing models, that AI models, or maybe models that will be automated, that you don't need lecturers. I don't think we are at that stage yet. I teach at the University of Nottingham, maybe one of the homes of technology in the UK. We are not even thinking about that yet. We are not at that stage of removing the human oversight in teaching yet. We are not at that stage yet. we should be thinking about how do we actually use these systems in a way that they align to our context and values at the moment. Let us start from that. Baby steps yet, I understand, but we need to start from there. Because if we miss the fundamental aspects of that training, we're going to miss the mark. We're going to miss the mark. And then everything that we're going to do will be extrapolated from the West, and which is not actually good for Africa. AI systems are here to stay. Nobody's saying that they're going away. Although most people are predicting another AI winter, because this is not the first AI boom that we have seen in history. So some people are now also predicting an AI winter. I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. But we need to think about how to use these systems in a way that they align to our values and principles. And I also had somebody saying that, oh, plagiarism in using ChatGPT or any other model. I understand that, right? That was also something that's also something I've also debated in a paper. The use of ChatGPT or any model, is it actually plagiarism? I don't know. That's a question that we need to answer. Because plagiarism means theft, actually. Plagiarism is about intellectual property theft, right? Saying this is your work, but it's not your work, right? That's fine. But plagiarism has an element of theft in it. But I don't think this has, because OpenAI or Meta will not tell you that they own the data in the models, right? It is an issue of academic integrity, right? Don't get me wrong. It is wrong to use ChatGPT and claim that is your work. It's very wrong. But maybe the concepts we use to describe it might be different. I don't think it's plagiarism, but it's a breach of academic integrity. I understand that. But I don't think there's also a system at the moment to accurately dictate when somebody has used it. Where I'm working from, I don't think any other university in the UK maybe has that at the moment. Maybe there is another way a lecturer would dictate, but I don't think there's any system like Turnitin that can effectively dictate the use of and has the level of accuracy that you can rely on to detect misuse at the moment. So, and that is why it is very imperative for us in Africa to train people, the students, and teach them how to use it responsibly, rather than actually allowing them to use it arbitrarily, and then it actually defies the purpose of what they are in the university for. But let me stop there so that others can chip in.
Okay, Dr. Damian, and I'm also interested in your paper on AI. If you could kindly share the link so everybody can see some of the arguments you made on AI thus far for the papers you published. So, I mean, they will get to see the evidence clearly. And Gado Chabenji is also here with his hand up. Gado, let's hear from you. Gado, can you hear me? Hello, Gado. Can you hear me? Okay, let's go to Evelyn Gawi. What's that, Gado?
This was Peter. I'm trying to raise my hand, but I can't see where to raise.
Okay, so you can put your camera on, right?
Yeah. I can
go ahead. Okay. All right, sir.
I hope you can see me.
Very well, clear.
Sitting in a very relaxed position here. It's very sunny in Cape Town, not usually sunny.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. This is a very worthwhile debate. Very nice discourse, and I agree with most of what colleagues are saying, that and that's what we had at A.G.E.N.D.A several debates and discussions around how AI ChatGPT can actually be utilized. The earlier times when it just came out, it was like, no, students, now they are just using this and they are copying work. Maybe they should be prevented. But people by and by realize that, some of the tools that are out there should enhance learning. But students need to understand that all we do at institutions of higher learning is to instill scientific integrity, instill how to generate knowledge. That's why research is there. Knowledge that can be utilized. Like I am in the health sector, so knowledge that can help to either prevent disease or improve on the way we treat patients, and so on and so forth. The problem comes in when be it a student, a staff working on research, then the only thing you can do is command AI to write you a paper, because ChatGPT can do that. You give proper commands, it can generate you a paper, and then tomorrow you send the paper to a journal. What is your involvement in knowledge generation in that context? And so if we allow that to happen, then we lose out on the whole paradigm of generating new knowledge for improvement in development, economics, in health, in education, and so on and so forth. And so while we encourage staff, students to maximize utility of available tools to enhance learning, there has to be clarity in how those tools can be utilized. And that's why I know that the introduction of Turnitin came through, so that students, or if you are working on something, you can check through whether you have done referencing accordingly. And if you have not, the Turnitin will show you that, no, here you just copied from somewhere else. This is not really your thoughts or ideas. And then you can really work on that so that, thoughts and ideas should be from yourself, backed by what other people have actually done before you to enhance your work. And so I think these are the critical things that we need to look at so that the new generation of researchers who are now our students should not be made to be dull. Because if you just bring in an electronic tool and that it can do work for you, it's like you're working like a robot. Then we lose out that whole, knowledge creation, the ability for creative thinking, critical thinking, critical analysis can actually be lost. And then I don't know what then the next generation of researchers or academics or professionals will be. And so we need, it's like you are reading a book. It's not different from reading a book. You read a book, it's somebody had put that information into a book, and then you read, and then you are writing your own work, and then you just copy, you just type everything that you are reading through, and then claim this is what I have done. And that's what sometimes happens with the utilization of ChatGPT. It can generate very good writing. You sometimes you read the student's work and you can say, no, I know how you speak and therefore I know how you can write. But this doesn't sound like your vocabulary, which means that the work has been done independent of the engagement of that particular individual. And so those are critical things that we need to look at so that we can develop, utilize the available resources, available tools in the best possible way, but without depriving the ability to train, teach, empower the current or the next generation in the critical thinking ability that the higher education is meant to develop. Thank you. Those were just some additions from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. Peter, let's hear from Evelyn.
Hello, it's Evelyn. You gave me an opportunity before. Can you hear me?
Very well, Claire. Go ahead.
So I'm from Morocco, and we are generally a French-speaking country, but we are rolling out our programs in English. So I just want to give you an experience that we have had. So what happens is when we admit students in programs, we then take them through a Cambridge or international exam for English so that we know what level to put them through. We support them, of course, because we understand that being French speaking, they don't have the academic level of English. So the English placement test is just for us to know which level to put them in. So what happened recently, they went through the placement test, and then it gives you level C1, A1, you know, those ones. So now we have put them in 4 groups so that we can start teaching them. And now we are beginning to receive private mails to say, I'm very sorry, but when I wrote the test, I used AI. So the C1 that I got, and you put me in group A, I'm actually in group D, which is the beginner level. So you see how at times you can put yourself in trouble by using some of these AIs. It's good to use them, but it depends on exactly what you want from them. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very, very important experience right there to help you understand I would say how dangerous AI could perhaps place you. It may put you off as a different kind of person, but it was your idea initially, and that is also very important to note. Let's have more hands on board. I want to see more hands, more ideas, more case studies like what Evelyn has shared with the students in Morocco and what happened. Let's go take some comments from the comment section. I have this comment from Joseph Wilson, who says that the last contribution from the UK-based professor is apt. ChatGPT is more about academic integrity than plagiarism. Plagiarism checkers platforms hardly detect AI-generated tests, but there are other platforms such as ZeroGPT that check AI-generated content. Interesting. Do we have more hands in the house? So then I'm going to put the next question on board. I think we're almost through with the session. The next one is about how can AI help make education more inclusive, and what risk could it pose for students from different backgrounds? So how can AI help us to make education more inclusive? And interestingly, earlier on, we were talking about how we have...
Okay, so...
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a bit fluctuating, but we can balance it up.
I think... again, AI education more inclusive, but there are ways that we can actually do that. What AI can do is to democratize access to educational materials. There are so many, just like Google did years ago. People who didn't have access to big libraries can now just with a simple search, they can get loads of materials online through Google. That's the same way generative AI systems or AI systems can democratize access to educational materials. That's one thing. And also it can help us in giving access to these materials to people in remote villages. Maybe places that you might not be able to access as an educator. You can develop systems for them or modules for them that they can access. So there are so many ways that we can use it, but then everything, the elephant in the room is always funding. Funding to redirect some of these educational approaches, funding to maybe acquire enough materials to do all this for people with low income. So, and sometimes as educators in Africa, we are largely underfunded. Most universities are largely underfunded to do some of these things, but we can always do what we can do in our capacities to help the others.
Okay, and let's do a little bit of Q&A so we can see all the Q&As, questions that we have people bringing in. Let's see if we have some questions. Oh yes, we have tons of questions. So let's do the questions and let's see if we can address them, and let's do a roundup on the discussion. That is from Nelson Zengini. Yes. So Nelson says that universities should focus on practical learning, things that cannot be done by Gen.A. Let's focus on psychomotor skills and just a little bit of theory. So, Dr. Damien, when we read the questions and we want to answer any, you let me know, or you share thoughts on them, or anybody else want to share thoughts on them, you can let me know by putting your hands up.
I want to comment on that. That is an important point, because one thing AI systems can also do in education is to take away the emphasis on critical thinking, right? And I think most people have pointed out this. It can surely take away the focus or emphasis on critical thinking, which is, for me, a central focus of education. So we need to, in whatever way we want to integrate AI systems into education, whether in research, whether in teaching, whether in learning or assessment, or maybe administrative duties. It's important for us not to allow our students to lose the element of critical thinking. That's important.
Okay. And then we have this from Alice Assam, who says that whether we like it or not, AI is already creating impact in education. The issue is ethical use. So rather than sanction students for use of AI in especially assignment compilation, lecturers and students should be trained on ethical use. Otherwise, we may pour the baby out with the bathwater. My personal opinion. Thank you very much, Alice, for that. And we have this from Professor Juliet Macaria, who says we're using AI tools such as we're using AI tools such as Reader AI, Ota AI for meetings. We have not discussed the ethical issues of using them. Both students and staff are using other tools such as GPT, chatbots, Canva, etc. And Joseph Wilson says that, are we still at the stage of coming to terms with AI has come to stay? Studies and reports across the continent have shown that AI has been embraced in all, if not all, the sectors. The focus has moved to the level of training AI to meet specific sectoral needs and to observe ethics. Africa is moving on beyond our imagination. Oh, that is huge. I would want to that comment should be very.
So before you do that, because I'm going to leave now.
Okay.
I want to say that this has been a very interesting conversation. And maybe for those who don't know, this is a precursor to a conference that we're planning with the AAU in Namibia, right? The conference will be on the use of AI systems in education in Africa, where we hope to have all of you and all decision makers in the universities in Africa to come together, and hopefully we can bring the big tech companies who are actually developing tools, where we can now have a discussion with them on how they can help us to responsibly use these systems in education. That will happen in Namibia next year. But going from today, it's going to be a very, very interesting conference, and hopefully we'll see all of you there. What we want to do is to bring both academia and industry together to understand how generative AI systems, how other emerging technologies can be responsibly used in African educational systems. That's an invitation for everyone. But also, just as Larry has put in the chat, we need to understand the landscape of use in higher education in Africa. I can see a lot of universities are already integrating AI systems. Can we map this use and how you are actually addressing some of the ethical issues? That can also help us to develop training materials or any material that can help universities in their own context. But thank you very much. This has been a very interesting conversation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damien. I think that everybody in the chat box is asking for your contact for more information on the conference in Namibia next year, and also for them to fill the questionnaire. So the questionnaire is in the chat box. I want you to share your views on AI in higher education, and that will actually accumulate into a conference next year in Namibia. So look out for that, and Dr. Damien will give you more information on that. But let's go back to the house. We have Baba Suleiman Hat with a hand up. Baba, let's hear from you. Hi, Baba. I think that your mic is muted. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, I did that.
Great.
I've unmuted. Yes, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, especially on the highlight on AI. And particularly, AI has come to stay. We cannot dispute that. But AI is changing our focus and orientation, especially at the university level. It has gone to the extent that the hard work we know ourselves, especially in Nigeria, when we know we are highly heterogeneous, and that heterogeneity is making us to have some challenges in terms of behavior as well as respect for the academia. Unfortunately, the advent of AI has made a lot of students very lazy, and as well, lecturers too are very lazy. And when we look at ethical issues concerned in the use of AI, sometimes there are cautions that not all outputs of AI are reliable. Then my advice, if you want to be ethically sound, is let's use the various AI tools. For example, somebody can use Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, and any other platform, then take an assessment of for an average concern for each variable one is trying to access before you can take a judgment. So where I'm focusing is that we should still be a little bit more committed towards gaining knowledge from sources other than the AI, so that it will make us more reasonable. Just like when we look at the background, when we did our O-level examinations, we don't even have a calculator. We don't use most of the things that are used now. All we use is the 4-figure table to know our mathematics. We read practicals, even the real laboratory. But with the advent of the AI, even in the university now, some students they graduate without knowing the basic things concerning their various schools of engagement. Like me now, I'm a professor of accounting, and I know the kind of students I am coaching. I don't even give assignment any longer, because when you give somebody an assignment, that person is supposed to go to the library. But the physical library are now ordinary buildings. Students no longer patronize because AI has resolved most of the issues. I have a daughter who is just 13 years old. Each time she was given an assignment, she said, "Daddy, let me use your phone so that I can make my assignment." So the physical library, all the features that are in the physical library are no longer known. Thank God that some universities teach use of the library so that people will know. For examination purpose, they go and know the various sections of the library, how to access books, how to access series, how to access all other things. But the moment they have written the examination and pass, they will spend a period of 4 or 5 years without going to the physical library at all. And even those in the library, they only see people when accreditation teams come to assess which books are there. Finally, let me just say that the culture of writing books by lecturers in the universities is no longer fashionable, in the sense that most of the things that people are looking for, they have them on their fingertips. So people are now reluctant to writing books, to keep them in the physical library so that they will become accessible. We only value books, journals, only when it comes to accreditation. But most of the things that we look, they are now in AI, they are in Google, they are in other platforms. So I think there is a need for us to instill ethics in whatever we are doing to build the academy so that we will now have good universities rather than just reading grounds. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Suleiman. And it has been an amazing session thus far. Comments tremendous. And I can read a whole lot in the chat box. I can see this from Anna Chitando, who says, AI should not be an end in itself, but a means to an end. There's a need to use chatbots as a starting point and then build on them to master the content in depth. Also from Helen. Helen says, before integrating AI to higher education, designing policies and strategies to use AI ethically must be the first step that we need to consider. And a whole lot more. And you know what? Our next session is also on AI. It says building resilient education systems through responsible research and innovation. And this will be championed by the Ethical Data Institute alongside with the AAU's Europe office hosted by the University of Nottingham. So you don't have to go anywhere. It is starting up shortly. But before we go, I know that there are some members in here who have not said anything. They have listened, but they want to share their view, maybe their last take. If you really want to share a last piece before we crown it, you can put your hand up and I'll give you a minute to share some submissions. Just as Baba Suleiman did, you can also do your own submission as well, and then we can crown this first session appropriately. I don't know if Dr. Damien is still with us. I think he left. He has an engagement, so he left us. Damien has left us, but if you also want to share your view thus far, you can also put your hand up. Okay, he's in the house.
Yeah, but
Okay. Your last words, if you can.
Okay, so thank you very much for attending this session, and hopefully we'll also see you in.
All right. So that's from Mr. Damien. He says that he wants us to attend to the questionnaire and also see us in Namibia.
What the use of
Okay, so as we get back to Damien, let's hear from Ebenezer Tibia. Eben, let's hear from you.
Yeah, hello. I'm Ebenezer Hansen from Lawe University College.
Okay, can we have a camera on?
I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think students should be taught how to use AI to enhance their knowledge. That's very critical in order not to sort of lose critical thinking. Students should be taught how to use AI to enhance their knowledge. I mean, just as one previous speaker emphasized. And that's very crucial because it appears now even kids at school, when they are given work to do, homework, assignment, they are taught to go and use phones for research. So they come home, tell parents, oh, Daddy, I want to use your phone. And some of them, they've been taught how to use the AI. So they just go there and find answers without engaging the brain and thinking to get the answers. So it is important that we stress the use of AI to enhance knowledge rather than just go to pick information and regurgitate to us. That's very important.
Thank you so much, Eben, for your submission as well. That is Eben from Lawe University in Ghana, and you can also be sharing your thoughts about the session thus far. Let us know where you're talking from, your university, and which parts of the continent you are, as we bring it to an end. So I would say, participants, you've been amazing and so loyal thus far. We've had 196 participants, and you're all active in the comment section about how we can use AI responsibly and also ethically. And some of the, I would say, notable items that we came across today or this morning is the fact that we should cling to data privacy. We should also be open-minded about the use of AI. Have we ever had an African indigenous AI platform? ChatGPT and others were made by the Westerners. What have we made in Africa? What university in Africa has also nurtured its own AI platform that has all the indigenous responses? If you key in any prompt engineering, is it able to give you anything that is from the soil, from the continent? Have we done that? So as we spend time to delineate from AI and also negate its purpose, let's try and create or narrate our own AI story. What AI platform are you nurturing? What have you created? And what significance is it of to the African continent? These are perspectives that we can be looking at now and not be throwing stones at the GPT platform. We can also do what we can do. I see this from Olani. He says that, how do we deal with the issue of hallucinations in generative AI? Sorry, Olani, our experts actually left the platform. I don't know if anybody on the platform will be able to answer, but we're actually bringing this to an end. We have just less than 10 minutes to move to the next session. So let me just say thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. And don't go anywhere. We still have another session for you, which is also AI related, on building resilient education system through responsible research and innovation. And if you want to participate in the AI workshop next year in Namibia, there is form rolling out in the chat box. It's a questionnaire collecting your views about how the conference can be structured. So kindly make your voice heard and attempt the questionnaire, fill in your data, and let's see how we can pull this off somewhere next year in October. So don't go anywhere. Just take a quick break, stretch yourself, drink some water, and cool down. We'll be having the next session in the next 9 minutes. So stay tuned. We'll go for a break. We'll come back, and then we'll give you more education, more insight, more training. It is the Africa University Celebration 2024, and we are looking at Education 360. Right back.